Hello, and welcome to this lab tutorial. In this session, we'll learn how to analyze servers effectively by generating SOS reports and leveraging Cockpit to monitor server performance. Now you can also first check the FAQ section. It covers how to copy-paste in the lab machine and adjust its resolution. Now, let's start the lab. In step 1, we will update the root password to a secure one of our choice. We'll run the password command. To begin, first click on the Access Lab button to open the lab environment. Now let's open the terminal, then type the command password to begin resetting the root password. After pressing Enter, the system will ask for providing a new password. Enter the new password and press Enter. Then re-enter the password for confirmation. After setting the password, let's move to the next step. In this step, we'll generate an SOS report using SOS Report command. This report is a vital tool when troubleshooting server issues. Now I'm entering the SOS report command. The system is processing and generating the SOS report, which may take a few moments. This report will gather essential information like logs and system configurations to assist in diagnosing any server issues. Now in step 3, Cockpit is an efficient, web-based tool that allows you to manage and monitor your server. It provides an intuitive interface to track system performance, manage services, and perform administrative tasks remotely. Now to allow root user access to Cockpit, we need to remove root from the /etc/cockpit/disallowed users file. This can be done by editing the file with VI, deleting the line with root, and saving the changes. Now I opened the file using the command vi/etc/cockpit/disallowed users. In the VI editor, I'll find the line with root. Press D twice to delete it, and then save by typing WQ and pressing Enter. Now let's start the Cockpit service. This service allows us to access the Cockpit web interface to manage and monitor the server. Now I started the service by entering the command systemctl start Cockpit. Once entered, this will activate the service and prepare it for use. Now let's check the status of the Cockpit service. This will confirm whether the service is active and running properly. To do this, I'll use the command systemctl status Cockpit. Once I enter this, the system will display the current status of the Cockpit service, showing whether it is active, inactive, or failed. In next step, we need to find the IP address of the server to access the Cockpit web interface. The IP address will allow us to connect to the server's web-based management tool. To retrieve this information, I'll run the ifconfig command, which will display various network details. I'll look for the IP address listed next to init under the F0 interface section. Note this IP address. Now we need to open a web browser to access the Cockpit web interface. I'll start by clicking on the Activities option. This will open the Activities overview, where I can launch the browser. Now that the browser is open, we will access the Cockpit web interface through a browser. Now open the web browser and type HTTPS IP address 9090 and press Enter. Now we will encounter a security warning in the browser because the certificate used by Cockpit is self-signed and not trusted by default. To continue, click on the Advanced button and then click on Accept the risk and Continue to bypass the certificate warning. Now log in using the root username and the password set earlier to access the Cockpit web interface. Now I'm entering root as the username and the password that was set earlier. After that, click on the Login button to access the Cockpit web interface. Now you'll see the dashboard displaying system metrics, logs, and services. The server's hostname appears in the top left corner, and on the right, you'll find session settings. At the top left, there's the server's hostname, and on right side there is session configuration. Next, let's explore the hostname feature on the top left corner of the Cockpit dashboard. It opens a list of existing hosts and provides an option to add a new host. As you can see, it displays the list of hosts, along with an option to add a new host. Now in Overview tab, you'll find options to reboot or shut down the server, along with system metrics. It also shows system information and configuration details. Now I'm on the Overview tab. Here are the reboot and shutdown buttons, followed by system metrics and configuration details below. Next, on the Logs tab, you can view server logs. These logs can be filtered by severity levels, and you can also search for specific entries. Now I'm on the Logs tab. Here, I can see and filter logs by severity and use the search bar to find specific log entries. Moving to next, the Storage and Networking tabs provide detailed information about the server's storage devices and network configuration. This is Storage tab to review the server's disk details. Next, I'll switch to the Networking tab to examine the server's network configuration and connection details. In Cockpit, you can also manage Podman containers directly. The Podman tab provides a dashboard for pulling, running, and managing containers. Now first click on Start Podman Service. Once the service starts, the dashboard will appear and allow to manage containers. Next, let's explore the Accounts tab. Here, you'll find a list of all users and groups on the server. This tab allows you to manage existing accounts and add new users easily. To create a new user, simply click on the Create New Account button. Now enter the username and set a password. After that, click on the Create button to add the new user. Now I am entering name and password, and then clicking on Create button. Now let's verify if the new user student has been successfully added. Check the Accounts tab to confirm. Now let's move on to the Services tab. Here, you can see all the running services on the server, and you can also start, stop, and restart services from this section. I'll search for the SSHD service, which is enabled by default. Now we'll stop the SSH service. Stopping a service can be useful for maintenance or troubleshooting. I'm clicking on the toggle button next to open SSH Server Daemon to stop the SSH service. Next, we'll move to the SELinux tab to check the status of SELinux. Currently, it's set to permissive. To enhance security, we will change it to enforcing by toggling the switch next to SELinux policy. I'll first click on the SELinux tab, then toggle the button next to SELinux policy to switch the status from permissive to enforcing. Next, let's move to the Terminal tab, which provides direct access to the server's command line. From here, you can run various commands and perform administrative tasks on the server. I'm now clicking on the Terminal tab, where I can start executing commands and manage the server as needed. Now that we've gone through the core features of Cockpit, you can explore the dashboard further. Now you've completed the exercise. Simply mark the lab as completed to finish.